Anyone who thinks we don't need to do something about policing in America is just living under a cinder block. Not living under a rock, your head is full of rocks. Or you're smoking a lot of rocks and maybe a big rock fell out the sky and hit you in the head. Something rocky, something. You got rocked, you did 12 rounds with Rocky, I don't know. Something happened. I got a clip here of the Louisiana State Troopers. Body cameras of them beating and suffocating a man, causing the man's death. And then they lied and covered it up, folks.
I'm scared. I'm just scared. Get out of the car. I'm scared.
Mr. Greene was, to some degree, even though he had just finished leading police officers on a lengthy and a high-speed chase, his inclination at that particular point was to acquiesce to what the officers wanted.
Let me see your hands. Put your hands behind your back, bitch. Give me your fucking hand. Put your hand behind your back. Taser. Put your hands behind your back. Behind your back. You're about to get it again if you don't put your fucking hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. I'm sorry.
What's problematic for me is that Mr. Greene is now left on the ground, on his stomach, handcuffed in a prone position. And officers are trained throughout the United States that once there's a struggle of this nature, and the individual's handcuffed, that you need to push him off onto his side or get him in a sitting position so you can allow that breathing to be unimpeded by his own body weight.
All over. This guy ain't got fucking AIDS.
And that didn't happen for at least, based on my calculation, 9 minutes, where Mr. Greene was left alone. And then when he wasn't left alone and he tried to get over onto his side, another trooper pushed him down using his foot against the lower back and buttocks of Mr. Greene. And I didn't understand that. There was absolutely no reason for that. Under no circumstances should Mr. Greene have been drugged by his ankle shackles. That was malicious, sadistic, completely unnecessary. And the officer that did it's going to have to be held accountable.
Now, this arrest once again took place in 2019 outside Monroe, Louisiana. It's the subject of a federal civil rights investigation. You know, the police did not want to give up the body camera footage on this arrest. They've been shrouding it in secrecy, and accusations are being made of a cover-up. Yeah, because they don't want people to know what they did. They killed a man. The Louisiana officials have rebuffed repeated calls to release the footage and details about what caused the 49-year-old Ronald Greene's death. Troopers initially told Greene's family that Greene died on impact. They said, yeah, he hit a tree and he died. You know, right after the chase. How many times do you think police have made up stories about what happens to us? And the family doesn't know any different. They want to put him in the ground and say, you know, and grieve, and they let it go. How often do you think that happens? I think it's rare that a family pushes and pushes and pushes. Now, there's a clip out there. It's 46 minutes. And this was just a partial of that clip. It shows one trooper wrestling Greene to the ground, putting him in a chokehold, punching him in the face, while another can be heard calling him expletives. Greene wails, "I'm sorry," as another trooper delivers another stun gun shock and warns, "Look, you're going to get it again if you don't put your effing hands behind your back." As you can see, a trooper was shown dragging him by his shackles of his ankles. Instead of rendering aid, a trooper The troopers leave the heavy-set man unattended face down, moaning for more than 9 minutes. They murdered him. It was set out. It was planned. Greene's mother, Mona Hardin, said. He didn't have a chance. Ronnie didn't have a chance. He wasn't going to live to tell about it. An attorney for Greene's family, Lee Murray, said the footage had some of the same hallmarks of the George Floyd video. The length of it, the sheer brutality of it. He apologized in an attempt to surrender. Louisiana State Police declined to comment on the content of the video. In the statement, the agency said the premature public release of investigative films and files, blah, 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 makes us look bad, so why'd you release it? The state police initially argued that the troopers' use of force was awful, but lawful. Yeah, it's awful that we abused him. It's awful that we killed him, but it's not against the law that we killed him. It's awful what we did, but it's not unlawful. We do the same thing all the time. He should have been in better shape to take a beating. While noting Greene was not without fault and appeared to resist the troopers' orders, Scott, who is Scott, said dragging the handcuffed man face down by his ankles was malicious, sadistic, and completely unnecessary. That never should have happened. You got the guy completely compromised. He's not hurting anybody. Charles Key, another use of force expert and former Baltimore police lieutenant, questioned the trooper's decision to leave Greene unattended, handcuffed, and prone for several minutes. Called the practice just dead wrong. You don't leave somebody laying on the ground, particularly after you've had this type of fight. The training has been for a number of years that as soon as you get someone under control, you put them on their side to facilitate their breathing. Particularly this guy, because he was very heavy. Oh, boy. At one point, Trooper Corey York yanks Greene's leg shackles and drags the man on his stomach, even though he isn't resisting. York was suspended without pay for 50 hours. 50 hours? Wow! Gee, thanks, Johnson. I wonder if you got him Burger King. York was suspended for 50 hours for dragging and for improperly deactivating his body camera. I wonder what he did when the body camera was off. Oops. My bad. Just going to cut this off real quick. York told investigators the device was beeping loudly and his mind was on other things. You're like beating the shit out of this guy that you chased, who hit a tree. So you're thinking, he should have died on the tree crash. Now I got to fill out paperwork. Let's just kill him. I mean, guys, that sounds flippant. I'm not trying to be flippant, guys. I just think they wanted him to die. So they killed him. That's it. Some cops do that. We got to wake up and live in the real world. We got to stop pretending. Got to own it. They killed this man because they were mad at him. He ran from them. So they killed him. I wonder why he ran from them. Oh, that's right. Because he just likes running. Exactly what caused Greene's death remains unclear. Union Parish coroner Renee Smith told AP last year his death was ruled accidental and attributed to cardiac arrest. Smith, who was not in his office when the determination was made, said her office file on Greene attributed his death to a car crash. It made no mention of a struggle. So originally, without the body cam footage, they just said he died in a car crash. We don't know what happened. We got to the car, he was dead. We tried our best to resuscitate him. We just couldn't. What do you want from us? An AP, the Associated Press last year also obtained a medical report showing an emergency room doctor noted Greene arrived dead at the hospital, bruised and bloody with two stun gun prongs in his back. That led the doctor to question Trooper's initial account that Greene had died on impact after crashing into a tree. It doesn't add up, the doctor wrote. Yeah, why would you stun a person 2 times who was dead? Yeah. I wonder how many times it's been happening forever, guys. People ask you, say, look, you think it's happening more now? We're just catching it on film. I think we're just catching it on film, Johnson. It's just being exposed more. That's all it is. It's just been exposed more now than ever before. That is it. That is all. It's probably worse back then. It's probably worse 50 years ago. Just your word against theirs? Come on. They do this brazenly with cameras. Just cut the cameras off. Cut the cameras back on. Lie on the reports. Other officers lie as well. Everyone just lies. You think they just started doing this last week? Nah, it's just getting caught more often and being publicized more often. And we got a news cycle that's crazy because we got so much footage. We got to know where to put it all. That's what's different. That is all that's different. If these officers don't go to jail, what I'm going to say? What am I going to threaten something? There's nothing to threaten them with. We got a legal system that protects them. I support the campaign to end qualified immunity. Go to the campaign to end qualified immunity.org. If they take out ending qualified immunity out of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, what good is it? Because these are the type of actions that don't have anything to do with what? Militarized equipment. That's part of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Militarized equipment, body cameras. They had body cameras. They cut them off, they cut them on, they cut them off, they cut them on. But they had them. What else? No knock warrants. There's no knock warrants here. So that's why you need qualified immunity to be reeled in or abolished, deleted, removed, get rid of it. Because they can kill you without using military equipment. They killed him with shackles and his own body weight laying on his face. Because they had to chase him. They were mad when they chased him. That's it. That's all. That is it. That is all, Johnson. It's just cold-blooded murder. Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.